Welcome back to our channel, where every camera tells a story and every badge is measured against the law. Today's footage comes courtesy of Reggie Photo, link below, so be sure to show them some support. This encounter outside a UK police station quickly turns into a debate over detention powers and Section 1 pace. Stay with us until the end for the full legal breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-world encounters and accountability analysis.
So guys, welcome to Winsford Police Station in Cheshire. Come on guys.
The video opens calmly outside the station, with the auditor openly filming and sketching from a public pavement. There's no attempt to conceal his activity, no restricted access breached. Yet the tension is already building, because filming near police property often triggers scrutiny. Legally speaking, being in a public space carries strong protections.
Sorry? No. Sorry? Sorry, it's on a need to know basis. No, I'm not going there. No. Okay, lovey. Have a nice day. Sorry.
An officer approaches and the tone shifts. What begins as casual questioning quickly turns toward authority. The officer appears to transition from conversation to control, without clearly articulating grounds. At this stage, reasonable suspicion would need specific, objective factors.
Oh, just
stop there.
Why am I being detained?
Yes, you are being detained.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What for?
Just because I just want to speak to you and find out who you are.
Oh, I'm obliged.
Well, I'd just like to know what you're doing.
What section are you detaining me?
You're outside a police station.
Am I free to go?
Pardon?
Am I free
Not
to?
at the moment, no.
So you're detaining me?
Yes, because I want to know who you are.
And what section of the law are you using?
Pardon?
What section of the law are you using?
Okay, I'm not being difficult with you.
You are?
I just want to know what you're doing outside a police station.
Well, I need to know. It's fully transparent, sir.
So, if you just tell me what you're doing, then...
Well, am I being detained?
It's fine.
Am I being detained?
Pardon?
Am I being
Well, I
detained?
would like to know who you are.
What? Am I being detained?
Yes, you are.
Under what section of the law?
Under section 1 of pace.
Seriously?
Yes.
What, offensive weapon?
The word detained enters exchange. That changes everything. Once detention is declared, the legal threshold rises, especially if it relates to Section 1 of PACE, typically used for suspicion of prohibited items like offensive weapons. The tension now centers on whether suspicion is properly grounded.
Pardon?
Offensive weapons?
Well, because I want to know what you're doing.
Well, what is it? Section 1 of PACE, you've got to have a reasonable grounds.
Well, why are you being so difficult?
I'm not being difficult. I like to remain private.
Okay, but you understand where you are. You're outside the police.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to go beyond places that I'm not allowed to go.
I know. I understand that.
I've got a marker pen and a see-through.
But what are you doing on here then? If you just explain to me what you're doing on there.
Well,
you're looking through the gate and that.
Yeah, only looking.
Like you're looking at the vehicle.
Only looking.
Like but why are you drawing on that?
Well, it's fully transparent. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's just a piece of perspex.
Yeah, but what are you doing?
I'm just writing.
Okay.
Drawing.
So why are you doing it outside the police station?
Well,
But the activity observed is simply drawing on perspex. This is where proportionality becomes key. Suspicion cannot be based purely on proximity to a police building. There must be articulable reasoning tied to potential criminality.
Where else can I can go all over, can't I?
You can go home and do it if you want.
So anyway, am I still being detained? I'm still being detained.
It's the fact that you're doing it outside the police station.
Yeah, but you can. There's nothing against the law.
You must understand that. Come on.
No, because if it's illegal, then yeah. So right, am I being detained still?
Well, I'm not going to detain you.
You've just detained me under section 1 of PACE.
Right, if you want to walk away...
No, I want to hang around here for a while, drawing.
Well, I'm not going to allow you to do that.
You're not going to allow me to do draw?
No.
Seriously, Constable? Oh. Seriously?
Yeah.
On what grounds then?
For them?
So you're going to arrest me if I carry on drawing?
I'm
On
not going to
perspex?
arrest you.
You said you're not going to allow me.
And not breaching gated areas. This distinction matters. Public pavements outside police stations remain public unless restricted by law. The officer's authority does not automatically extend to controlling lawful presence.
On gates where it says at that gate, it says no pedestrians beyond this point. I will never dream of going behind there. I will never dream of going beyond places.
Well, you tell me why you're doing this.
I like to draw in public.
Okay.
Yeah, and take notes of things.
Yeah.
Now it's fully transparent, like I say. I have.
Look at it.
It's a piece of perspex. Of course you can look at it and look through it if you want. There's nothing hostile in there. So when's the detainment over? Because time's ticking now.
If you want to go, then you can go.
Well, I want to stay as well. That's the difference.
Well, I don't really want you to stay here, do I?
But it's a public street. You can't say that.
Okay. Well, you're within close proximity to...
Yeah, and that's the reason why there's a gate there. When anybody, two people have come out and in, and I've never tried going when the gate was open. I wouldn't do that. It clearly says
Odd behavior versus unlawful behavior. Importantly, the law does not prohibit being unusual. Courts have consistently held that eccentricity alone does not establish reasonable suspicion under Section 1 PACE.
no admittance to the public.
It does.
So I've given you my word on that.
Okay.
On a public street,
Okay.
I've just been detained.
We haven't really explained to me what you're doing here.
I don't have to. I don't have to account myself in a public space.
We're going around in circles here, aren't we?
Well,
So-
you've just detained me, sir.
Because I would like to know what you do here.
And I've told you.
I haven't really given a reasonable explanation. You
What,
just
for
give-
drawing on a piece of
just- Yeah,
perspex?
it's just a bit strange, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's a bit strange.
Well,
doing
I am a
that
bit
well,
strange.
right,
I really am strange.
Well, I don't think you're strange, but I think what you're doing is a little bit odd.
Yeah, but there's no law against being odd or strange.
Okay.
So you grassed me up for this.
What will
You
do?
seen me there, and I was doing nothing to you.
What will you be doing? No, I didn't say you were doing anything.
I was
to
just
me.
drawing, looking for it.
But we'd just like to know what your purpose of you being here was. And you've
And,
told us.
I'll tell you, it's nothing hostile.
What specific grounds justify detention? This is a pivotal moment. Officers must be able to clearly articulate their suspicion at the time, not retroactively justify it. Ambiguity weakens the legitimacy of the stop.
You've told us no.
You know.
Well,
Well, I don't. When's the detainment over? Because I'd like to freely walk around.
Well, yeah, you can get.
You know. So, call number 4170. Are you based out of here, sir?
I am.
I will have to put a complaint in about this. You detain me on the section 1 of PACE.
I have detained you, yes.
Yes.
While I speak to you.
You can't. That's not how it works.
To establish what you're doing.
So,
here.
what grounds did you use section 1 of
If you
PACE?
want to make a complaint, mate, you make a
No, I will.
complaint.
But I need to ask you
It's
what
all on
ground.
camera.
What grounds did you use
It's
to?
all on camera.
What grounds did you have to suspect for using section 1 of PACE? You haven't even searched me. I've told you I've no offensive weapons on me or anything like that. Got a bottle of water. That's it.
Yeah.
But you use section 1 of PACE. That's usually for offensive weapons and stuff like that.
Well, you are within.
The officer states suspicion based on proximity to the police station. That reasoning edges toward location-based suspicion rather than behavior-based suspicion. Under UK law, suspicion must relate to the individual's conduct, not merely the setting.
Close proximity to a police station, so I have reasonable suspicion, don't I? I could search you if I wanted to.
You could do. You might as well now. You've used section 1 of PACE because it's still the same thing. You can't just stop me from going about a lawful act.
We can ask you under that section to stop an account.
Under section 1 of PACE,
It's not necessarily stop and search.
Yes,
we're going to get
stop
run over here.
So I've stopped you and I've asked for an account, haven't I?
Account.
I'm reading you.
How are you?
Yes, he's an auditor. He's got a concealed camera potentially, and he spoke to me outside.
It's not concealed. It's clearly visible.
Oh, is it in your glasses?
Yeah,
Okay.
clearly visible.
Right.
And there's no law against filming in a public space.
No, I didn't know that.
And you know I'm an auditor. You should tell these what I'm writing things down, which is not against the law. I won't go beyond any.
No,
You know that.
You're a lovely gentleman.
Yeah.
We had a lovely interaction.
But all I want to do is go uninterrupted in a public space. But he's just.
Here's the turning point. Detention under Section 1 is asserted, yet no search follows. Section 1 PACE is a stop-and-search power, not merely a stop-and-question tool. If no search occurs, it raises questions about whether the detention threshold was properly applied.
Detain me.
We'll leave you to it.
Am I undetained now then?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. So 4170. Detained. Under Section 1 of PACE. Not even searched. Anyway guys. That was the CID lady from one of the last videos. I want to make a point. See, he knows he's just messed up, doesn't he? So when that gate shuts, we're going. Detained. What? For a bit of perspex. 4170.
The officer ultimately disengages, and the detention ends. No contraband, no escalation, no further action. The auditor walks away, but the legal questions linger, especially regarding whether suspicion was specific enough to justify invoking statutory powers.
Detained under Section 1 of PACE, just while we speak to you. That's not how it works. But all that tells me now, guys, is I'm getting a tug in my car when I get back to it. She got back and really saved me bacon in a way, didn't she? She saved me bacon. I couldn't believe that. You could not write that, guys.
The auditor reflects on how close this encounter came to becoming more serious. The officer's intervention may have prevented further escalation, but also exposed potential misunderstandings about detention authority. Sometimes accountability emerges not from conflict, but from scrutiny.